afternoon everyone, I'm Gary Martin, and today I'm going to be answering a question that I get asked quite a lot in the pro shop, and it is a mallet putter easier to use than a bladed putter? Is it easier to align and take straight back and through? You know, and off the top of my head I would say yes, you know, and I'm sure a lot of people will be guilty of that, but I've never actually tested it, and that's what we're going to do today. If you could take my Scottie Cameron home today and game it and lose your putter, would you do it?
Probably not.
Probably not?
No. just it's just that line.
He's a lot better man than me. So first of all, I'm going to measure out a 6-foot and a 12-foot putt, and for those of you that aren't aware, I had to Google this. 6 feet is 182 centimetres. So we're going to mark out a 6-footer, which is here. Got my red trusty Sharpie pen. And then we're going to come back another 6 feet, so we're going to have a 12-foot putt as well. I think we might just get on the green, right up to the edge of the green here. So for the purpose of this testing, and you guys might already be familiar with this if you watch my channel, I'm going to be using the PXG One and Done, which is a putter that, you know, I've gamed all year against a Scottie Cameron Detour 2.5 conversion, which is a putter that I've just bought and I'm absolutely loving. So I've gone back to sort of more of a traditional bladed club. And, you know, in all honesty, I feel personally that I probably haven't made any gains, but I haven't made any losses. And that was one of the reasons why I wanted to do this video, to actually, you know, test them side by side, because it's not something I've done yet, to see which one is actually the best, which one I actually feel most comfortable with, and see whether it helps answer a few of these questions that you might have, you know, with putting and you know, choosing a putter. It's a fair test. What I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate putters after every shot so that I don't get familiar with the line or the weight of the putt with one particular putter. I want this to be as fair as possible. I'm going to have 4 shots with each putter, and we're going to record from 6 and 12 feet, you know, how many putts I hole. And I'm going to talk a little bit about, you know, what I'm feeling over the shot with each putter. So starting with the Scottie Cameron, I mean, I'll put some close-ups of this one in. There's very little going on at the top. It's very plain, you know. I think the only thing I can really focus on here is the length of stroke for distance and that leading edge. He's trying to get that leading edge staying square to the target. So what we got going on here? So there's a lot more going on here. I'll put some close-ups into this one as well. That's interesting because I've never done this side by side. I'm not focusing on the leading edge as much, I guess, with this one. I've got a lot more going on top of the putter, so I'm a bit more drawn to the alignment aids. Interesting. I don't know, it's here and there at the minute because I don't mind either. I don't mind either way personally. That does, I mean, aesthetically on my eye, I do love the plainness of the Scottie Cameron. I do love the simpleness of just having one sort of focus, and that's the leading edge of the putter. I guess this is going to come down to a little bit of a personal preference as well. You know, this is just my opinion. We might have Dan popping up to the studio soon. You've seen Dan on the channel before, and our junior members. I will try and get his opinion as well. But I mean, I would have always said a mallet would be easier to align, but I'm actually drawing myself away from the club face here, and I don't know whether that's a bad thing or not. What do you think, guys? You know, get in the comments. Do you use the club face or do you use the alignment on top of the putter to try and sort of aim to target? Well, the results so far have been better with the PXG, with the mallet, and the approach I'm taking here, it's weird because obviously I've used this putter all year, but I'm actually thinking about what I'm doing now. you know, because obviously we're testing. I seem to be using the alignment, and it's got 2 rails on it, and I'm actually feeling like I'm getting the rails passing through the ball and to the target, so I'm not sort of thinking about the leading edge so much. Whereas on the Scottie Cameron, I almost feel like I'm just focusing on that leading edge, and I'm trying to deliver that leading edge through the ball and down the target line. So the eyes are focused on 2 different parts, you know, with each club. I don't know what the preference is so far. I mean, results wise, PXG's winning. Oof, wow, side door job. Still in the lead. I'm getting a bit worried now because I'm actually enjoying using the Scottie Cameron. I love the look of it more personally. But, you know, with the break series ongoing, I do want to hole as many putts as possible. I just love the look of that though. Oh, is it me being... You know, obviously, you could call me a bit of a traditional golfer. And I've been playing 20 years, you know. Am I getting a bit of a traditionalist where, you know, the modern new equipment is not sort of where what appeals to me. But this is a very used, you know, this kind of design is used a lot on tour. So there must be something said for that. I haven't actually missed one, have I, with a PXG from 6 foot, and you know, 4 out of 4 you would take that on the course, there's no doubt. We're going to move it back to 12 feet, which I think is going to make it that, you know, weight's very important from 12 feet. You know, it's not just about getting the aim, you know, to hold the putt from 12 feet, if there's any break, the weight's got to be there as well. So that's going to be quite interesting. So we're going to test from 12 feet, but so far, the Mallet is holding up to its reputation of being, you know, easier to align and easier to hold putts. Come on, sort yourself out, lad. We've got Dan here. He's turned up. We should have been doing junior coaching today, shouldn't we?
Yeah, the rain's just...
But we've been rained off, so we've come up here to do this video, and he's a bit on spot. He's not had a minute to prepare.
No.
You ain't got a clue what we're doing, have you?
No, my dad just said something about putting, so I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah,
okay.
what putter have you got? Show us what putter you've got.
It's a bit battered. I've had it for a few years now. It's a TaylorMade Spider. I've had it for a while.
Spider. So alignment-wise, let's have a look what you got on there.
It's got a white line through the middle.
A big white line. Show you that one. So it's got a big white line. You'll have seen this one, guys. It's not anything new. But why have you got that? I mean, what did you have before?
I had a Detour TaylorMade putter.
And was that a Mallet putter?
No, that was a blade. I got that a few years ago, more than a few years ago, because I was only little and I just wanted a nice putter, and it's the only thing that it was just in like a sale box at a golf club, so I just thought, oh, that looks nice.
And with the Mallet putter, any reasons why you decided to go for a Mallet putter?
I just like the look of it.
You just like the look of it. And has it improved your performance, would you say?
Yeah, it's the white line in the middle of it. It's definitely a help, because before the only little line, like a little black line that was on the old one, it was a bit small and it was a bit confusing. But with this one, it's sort of like gives you an idea for your stroke as well.
So I'll tell you what we're doing today then. I'll not keep it dark any longer. We're testing to see whether a Mallet putter does help more than a blade, you know, for aligning and holding putts.
Yeah.
So I'm testing from 12 and 6 feet to see which putter I hold the most putts with, and so far the PXG is leading by 1. Hold 4 putts against 3 putts with a Scotty from 3 feet. Right. So from 12 feet we're going to start off with a Scottie Cameron. Oh, solid. And switch to the PXG. I just don't know, Dan. I just don't know. I can't miss with PXG, but for some reason, I don't know what it is, I look down at this Scottie Cameron and I'm just in love with it when I look down at it. It's just so plain and simple. I love the feel of it as well. It's going to come to wire, I think. It's going to come to wire. I guess is looks everything when you're buying a putter.
Well, it was when I got mine.
Is it looks, guys, or is it performance? Get in the comments. You know, what is most important when you're buying equipment? Have you got to love the look of what you're using, or is it purely just, it doesn't matter what it looks like, it's what gets you the lowest score? Wow, I cannot miss.
Rolling them all.
I haven't actually missed a putt with PXG, and which is unbelievable, isn't it, guys? To think that I've actually switched from the PXG to the Scottie Cameron for no reason apart from just, you know, at home a little bit bored, and you know, came across it on Facebook and thought I like the look of that, and I'll go back to basics, and I do love the look. And no pressure for Scotty, but he's got to hold these last two to have a chance. Oh, it's hanging in there. I think the PXG's think, you know, I don't know if you ever had these weird thoughts, but sometimes, you know, when you buy a new club or you've got one on order, and then the old one starts to sort of perform, doesn't it? I think this one's like, you know, because it's been on bench for a few weeks.
Yeah.
It's pulling its act together now and thinking, I want to get back in bag. It really wants to get back in bag, doesn't it?
He's trying.
It's trying. Final putt with Scotty. So it comes down to this for PXG. But am I going to put it back in bag? You know, even though it might win in this test, I just love the look of the Scotty. I'm sold on it. Oh. So the PXG, obviously, it wins on the test only by one. I think that this visual alignment might help a more of a mid to handicap golfer. It would be my conclusion. I think for me personally, I'm quite comfortable with my stroke. I don't need so much visual alignment on the top to get that stroke straight back and through. But I think, you know, sort of more a higher handicap golfer might sort of, you know, benefit from that. But what I would say is do this test yourself. If you're going to buy a putter, don't just think, oh, I'm going to buy a Mallet because, you know, people, or I've read in a magazine, or people said that it's easier to use, it's easier to align. Actually go and do the test. There's plenty of shops where there's a putting green. Get a Mallet and get a blade and test it for yourself, because I personally, I'm going to be honest, I'm more comfortable with a blade. I know I've had more results with that, but I think over a longer period, I'd be more happy with that.
Yeah.
I just really love the simplicity of being drawn to the club face rather than being, you know, drawn to the lines on the top. And what I want you to do, Dan, is I want to get Dan's opinion on this, because he's obviously using a Mallet. You know, not thinking of changing for any reason, are you?
No.
So I'd rather, you know, not just make this about my opinion. I want Dan, who's a mid-handicap golf. What are you off now?
6.7.
We'll get Dan, you know, to have a few putts and just see what Dan thinks. So from 6 feet, Dan, I want you to have a go. I'll rotate your putter, my putter, with your Mallet and blade, and I want you to sort of talk about what you see over the ball, you know, what you're focusing on.
Yeah.
Rotate to mine.
Yeah.
The blade. Now this is going to look a lot different to you, isn't it?
Yeah. The first thing I noticed is it's got no line on it for the alignment, and for me on the Spider that's a big part, because if it's got no alignment, then.
So by not having that alignment, what are you going to do now? How are you going to take that putter straight back through? How are you going to get the club face pointing to target? What might you use?
Well, when I've always been putting, I've always normally used the line on the golf ball that's normally on there for the branding, and I usually line that up. But because I've not got that, then I don't really know.
Dan wasn't here when I was talking about, obviously, you know, the blade and why I enjoy using it. But he might work this one out himself now.
Same putt again.
Did you feel less comfortable with that?
Yeah, I did, because I just... The grip, it's not really anything to do with the putter, but it's just the grip. For me, this is a bit more rough, so it's easier to grip onto. That one was just a bit spongy and a bit slippery. It just
didn't feel as comfortable with the grip.
No, it just didn't suit me.
I mean, that's a video in itself, isn't it? You know, getting the correct grip.
Yeah, well, I've always wondered, well, do I get a thinner one or do I get one of them, the super stroke ones? Yeah. When I got this putter, it came with one of them super stroke ones, and I just didn't like it. And then I got this, and the thinner one is just more comfortable.
We will conclude with a little bit of a chat on grip thickness on putters, because I think it is important, and you know, there is a little bit of you know,
it's short.
Unlucky.
Useless.
One with a blade. So not having any alignment on top of the blade, I mean, are you using, could you try and think about the club face for me? When you're going through, think about that club face, staying square through the ball and to target, because you've not got anything else that you could use, and that's what I like to use. So let me know how that feels when you do that. So just concentrate on the leading edge of the putter. Unlucky.
Can't buy one.
And that's why you're off. What you're off?
6.7.
6.7.
I've come down since the last time I was on this channel. I was off 10 when I played you.
That's very true. But a lot of people sort of, you know, sort of ask me, what's the difference between, you know, being a 9-10 handicap golfer and being a scratch golfer? And you know, they don't sometimes believe me when I say that. It's a lot of it's round the green. It's putting and chipping. And obviously club selection, course management, I would say.
Finally.
But I played with a lot of mid-handicap golfers who were 6-7 handicap. I'm teaching one at the minute, Christian, if he's watching, who strike the ball as good as most scratch golfers. But they just haven't got that sort of chemistry yet to get the scores through experience.
I'm warmed up now, I think.
You warmed up. So in conclusion, Dan, what are you thinking? If you could take my Scottie Cameron home today and game it and lose your putter, would you do it?
Probably not.
Probably not?
No. It's just that line.
He's a lot better man than me. Because I think if someone at his age, you know, if a pro had offered him a Scottie Cameron, I'd have been running for hills with Scottie Cameron. I wouldn't have given a damn about performance. No. He's a better man than me. But talking about grip, because you mentioned a great point there, is when we're talking about grip thickness, I feel that somebody who might be quite wristy and handsy and struggle for distance control could benefit from a thicker grip. You know, I see a lot of people with too much hinge of the hands creating a second lever in the system when they're putting, you know, making it hard to judge the speed of stroke with a thin grip, you know, and that really encourages more movement of the wrists, more movement of the hands. So I certainly suggest what you mentioned there is trying a bit more of a thicker grip if you're somebody that needs to, you know, become a little bit more mechanical, you know, not a robot, but start to use your shoulders and keep this triangle a little bit more in your stroke. And if you're somebody that, you know, has got quite a good stroke where you use your shoulders and your chest, and you know, you obviously have this sort of triangular pendulum stroke, but you struggle for actually feel, so that's feel of sort of distance control, not because you've not got a, you know, obviously the wrong stroke, not because you're too wristy, but you just struggle for distance and feel, then I think a thinner grip sometimes offers you that. It offers you that a little bit more connection with the shaft and the club face. I know it sounds silly, but you know, I'm only talking from my experience of coaching and playing golf, that a thinner grip, I think, connects you a little bit more to the green. You know, it makes you feel the putts, feel the weight of the putts. Well, a bit more traditional, like the old-fashioned players. I mean, you've seen some old-fashioned players that'd stand like this, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
And they'd really get, you know, a feel for the green and use like a really thin grip. But thicker grips can be a benefit, but You know, obviously only in the right hands.
Yeah.
So I hope you've enjoyed that one, guys. You know, the conclusion for me is I am going to stick with the Scottie Cameron because that's what I feel most comfortable with. And I think results-wise, you know, I will get more results moving forward because I'm comfortable with it and I love the look of it. But I think, you know, something to be said for mallets, isn't there?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. For me, when I'm using a putter with a larger head, it just feels like, I don't know, it just gives me a bit more confidence when hitting the ball that I can hit a smoother stroke on it. With this, there's not as much of the putter. It just feels a bit light and you can get a bit wavy with it.
So don't write the blades off. Make sure you test them if you're interested in buying a new putter against the mallets and make your own decision. But don't write the blade off. You know, definitely test it because you've just seen with my performance then, and probably with Dan's as well. I don't think there's a great deal of difference between the mallet and blade.
No.
You know, it's easy to say that, you know, obviously look a lot easier to align, but results-wise, both for us had similar results. I hold them all and you hold none. Right, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in a few days' time.
Yeah.
Bye.